Things cannot get any worse for Israel Adesanya. Not only did he lose to the white African, then he got quietly removed from the pound for pound rankings within the UFC and replaced with Aljamain Sterling. And now we have Khamzat Chimaev shooting down all hopes of Israel Adesanya being the only gay in the village.
I am the only gay in the village.
So Khamzat Chimaev sparks controversy after calling UFC champion Dricus du Plessis an African gay in a viral X space conversation. Now I actually did see the video of this, and I have seen Khamzat Chimaev, Darren Till, MMA Guru, all these boys are joining together doing these spaces, and it's a good crack and it's a good laugh. Darren Till sounds like he's a little bit out of it, he's a bit sleepy, a little bit chazzed, I don't know, one or the other, but it's a good old crack. And we will cover the response from Dricus du Plessis in a few seconds, and of course it's an interesting one. It's the exact one that I thought of when I heard Khamzat Chimaev talking so much shit, and it's the same response that I feel when I hear people talking about that he's next in line for the title shot. It's kind of like, listen dude, just show up for a fight. It does beg belief that he's on here talking shit about Dricus du Plessis and the dude can't even make a fight or make it into the country. But yeah, let's have a little listen and see what he says.
Title. We need to get that title back for the normal people, man. This gay to have the belt, man. Not normal. First time I've ever seen heard like African gay.
Where are you? Khamzat, where are you?
I'm home, bro.
Look, it is good crack, it is good fun, but you can't imagine Israel Adesanya sitting at home flicking around on his phone on social media and hearing like the bigger stars in the industry now, like Khamzat Chimaev, talking about, I've never heard of a gay fighter before, and you just know that Israel is like absolutely devastated.
I am the only gay in the village.
He's like thinking, I'm putting out pictures of me with pink hair, nail varnish. I'm kind of fiddling around with dogs as well to kind of emphasize my point. I'm not gay, but my shoes are. He's got the lipstick, he's got the lip gloss. He's on the biggest podcasts in the world talking about his feminine side and all this type of stuff. He's extremely in touch with his feminine side, but he just doesn't have the guts to come all the way out there and say that he's not as comfortable as Dricus du Plessis is with the relationship with men. So you can just imagine him absolutely seething. In the same week where he gets exposed for the fake hate crimes, he gets exposed for like 13 months of racism and a mental breakdown. He gets quietly removed from the pound for pound rankings, and also his dreams of being the first openly gay guy gets absolutely destroyed and tarnished by Khamzat Chimaev, and he's just not as comfortable or not as stoic as Dricus du Plessis to come out and say how he feels and how he is about relationships with men. And it's actually quite interesting if you look at Dricus du Plessis answering the question about kissing the boys on the mouth, which for me is weird. I did the research. I went online and I looked for like South African or African customs. The only African customs that come to the top of the Google search when you type that in is like bouncing out of shithole countries, coming to Western countries and destroying them and eating cats and dogs and stuff like that. But there was nothing about kissing guys on the mouth. Absolutely nothing. And I did a little bit of a deep dive. I was on Reddit. I was trying to find out whether this was a South African thing. And kind of what you come up with when you do that is like, it's not really a South African thing. It might be a gym thing, which is extremely worrying, especially when you see the pictures of these boys like kissing each other on the mouth. But it says a lot about Dricus's mentality when he answers a question about his sexuality and kissing the guys in the mouth and all that sort of stuff. It says a lot about how he's able to break these fighters, these absolute badasses like Sean Strickland and Israel Adesanya. Let's have a little look at this response, because again, he seems comfortable enough.
And said, listen, there's nothing you can say that has any effect on me. Like, go crazy. You're talking about me kissing other dudes. I have more photos. I post them online. I don't care. Jeez, you think I care? I'm completely comfortable with my sexuality. Have you seen my girl? My guy. Yeah. So I don't care about that. You know, me kissing my coach, kissing my dad, kissing my brothers. I don't feel like people saying, oh, that's gay. So what? I don't care. I love those people. That's my family. And,
dude, here's the thing with Dricus du Plessis, right? When you see these guys go into press conferences and you see them building these characters for themselves, I actually don't think he's building a character. I think he's 100% comfortable in exactly what he just said there. If you see me kissing my brother, my coach, my father, I don't care. I love these guys. These are my family. He's sitting there. He's as calm as can be. I don't know how you can get inside the head of Dricus du Plessis, which makes him even more dangerous when you put that together with like that unorthodox blitzing forward style. And when we see what he did to Israel Adesanya, that blitzing style was kind of reduced and curtailed, and it worked a lot better for him. It allowed him to navigate the fight against an elite boxer and kickboxer, and it allowed him to continuously get inside, continuously do damage, and ultimately get the win. But you join that with the mentality of this dude, and you see that he has a history of making his opponents cry. Remember, this is the UFC, this is MMA. We've got some of the toughest guys on the planet, and Dricus du Plessis is in here after licking the mouth off of his coach, after kissing guys left, right and center, and he's kind of sitting there as calm as can be saying, yeah, I've got more pictures. I don't care. It is what it is. And I think that's going to be really hard for his opponents like Sean Strickland or Khamzat Chimaev or Robert Whittaker to get inside the head of him. And we know that getting inside the head and the mental side of the battle is very important, as we saw with Israel Adesanya being extremely weak, and he probably lost the fight 13 months ago when he was having that little bit of a mental fit inside in the octagon. So Dricus du Plessis is a serious guy. He kisses fellas on the mouth. It's weird, but it is what it is. And Dricus did respond to Khamzat Chimaev, as I alluded to earlier, exactly the same way that I think most people that are of critical mind think when they hear Khamzat Chimaev. Yes, he's funny. He's on there with Darren Till. He's having a laugh. Yes, he's an awesome wrestler, and I love his tenacity, his energy. He really is a star within the UFC, and I'm actually confident enough to say that, because when we look at like the stars, the people that are going to bring the sport forward, Sean O'Malley, Pantoja, what's going on with these guys? But Khamzat Chimaev is a legit guy. So you'd love him to be consistent. You'd love him to get in there. You'd love him to get in and get the job done over and over again and warrant a title shot. But it's funny that he talks so much shit and he can barely make it into the octagon. Dricus du Plessis responds after Khamzat Chimaev mocks him as a gay champion in an unfiltered interaction with ex-UFC star. The way that's worded is crazy. I don't know why to do that. But basically, Dricus du Plessis responded with like one sentence and we get a full article out of it. That's just the way things roll over here. You just focus on trying to make a fight. Any fight. So I guess this is his response over on Instagram. It warrants a full article over here and probably a full video over here. But I thought the exact same thing when I heard Khamzat Chimaev talking shit the other day. Yeah, it was super funny, but in the same breath, dude, get into the octagon and get the job done. Stop bailing out of fights left, right and center, and then we'll have something to build on. So isn't it crazy? One of the bigger news stories this week is Khamzat Chimaev going after Dricus du Plessis for being a gay champion, and still Israel Adesanya gets triggered.
I am the only gay in the village.
And he comes out the worst of it, and Dricus is still sitting pretty up there with the title in his hand, and he's not worried about bickering back and forth. He's not breaking down crying. He's not having an emotional reaction, and I thought it was quite funny and an interesting story. Let me know your thoughts down below, and maybe hit like, subscribe and share if any of it made sense. I appreciate it. Cheers.